We can learn a lot about praying from sunflowers, from creation in general. As the video from Science Magazine says, sunflowers, especially when they're young, they both bend toward the light and the face of the flower moves with the light. Prayer is like that. It's just bending toward the light. But as human beings, we always get stuck on some things. One, we think that prayer is almost like our way of earning something from God or proving ourselves. So we have this mindset that we're creating the light or increasing the light. And when we perhaps ask for things, we're maybe threatening the light or intruding upon the light. But this is the truth of what we call grace. That God is who God is. And God's heart is to give love. Even love we don't necessarily earn. Even love that we run away from. We don't increase the light. We don't decrease the light. But prayer is like our bending toward the light. Jesus says this in Matthew chapter 7, verses 7 and onward. He says, "Ask and you will receive. Search and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. Whoever seeks finds, and to everyone who knocks the door is opened. Who among you will give your children a stone when they ask for bread, or give them a snake when they ask for a fish? If you who are evil, ouch, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your heavenly Father give good things to those who ask him? Therefore, you should treat people in the same way that you want to be treated. Or treat people the same way that you want people to treat you. This is the law and the prophets." In other words, it's like the whole Old Testament almost summed up. Sometimes I struggle so much when I'm asking for things in prayer. Sometimes I get caught in my own head. Again, I'm thinking of the light, like, I'm threatening the light by asking things. I'm threatening God, or I'm wincing before the light, asking for things that, am I changing God's mind? Is that what my asking is doing? And is it really doing anything, my asking? Is it changing my mind? The longer we spend time in prayer, bending toward the light, that very act changes our understanding of asking. It also, I think, diminishes our need to have all the answers, to know exactly what our praying is doing, to need to know how it's going to be answered or to know the results. Go back to sunflowers. As they get older, they just face east like all day. They're facing the sunrise like all the time. They change as they spend time in the sun. Prayer is all about relationship first and foremost. It's spending time with Jesus, doing something in the power of the Spirit, which changes our understanding of praying and changes the way that we ask for things. For instance, you heard it right there at the end. Jesus is talking about asking for things, and then he tags this line, "Therefore you should treat people in the same way that you want people to treat you." What I think he's saying is that in praying, we like grow up in our love of God, we grow up in our love of ourselves, and we grow in this love for our neighbor. We change the way we ask for things. Maybe we don't ask as selfishly as we once did. Maybe we have our eyes turned not just for asking for things about people, but maybe we start asking, knowing that God may use us to work out the prayer. God may do something through us to help somebody else feel the warmth of God's light. Jesus says, I am the light of the world. He calls us, you are the salt and the light of the earth. I remember one person saying, I want to think it's Rob Bell. I'll try to find the quote and get it out there to you. But it was something along the lines of, don't just pray for God to give someone bread when you have a loaf in your hands. So yes, we bend toward the light. We face the light. We grow up and we mature. And we start asking for things like Jesus does. With God's way and will coming to the earth, we start wanting that more than just our own kind of selfish things. We also realize that God may use us, wants to use us. Again, that's God's heart. God wants to do something in relationship with us to bless the world, to bless our neighbors. Prayer is a place for us, essentially, to grow up in the light of the sun, to grow up in the two great commands that Jesus talks about. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. So let's bend toward the light, face the light, face the sunrise every morning, and expect that God is going to bring light or make people wake up to the light that's always there through us.